to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin. All across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV. From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin. All across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.
Lovely evening to you, and thanks for joining us on the news update on 24 News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Wafo. Some retired police officers earlier today staged a protest at the entrance of the National Assembly in Abuja. The protesters were demanding for their removal from the contributory pension scheme. The demonstrators, made up mainly of elderly ex-police personnel, held placards and chanted solidarity songs as they stood in the rain, insisting that their welfare and dignity had been neglected for too long. Speaking during the protest, a retired Chief Superintendent of Police, CSP Emmanuel Lawal, called on the government to remove police retirees from the pension scheme. He described it as exploitative and unjust. Despite the rain, the retirees stood firm, vowing not to leave until their concerns were addressed by the leadership of the National Assembly. Security operatives were also seen monitoring the protest to prevent any breakdown of law and order. The Federal High Court in Abuja has rejected a request by immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, for the release of his international passport to enable him travel abroad for medical treatment. The court dismissed the application on the grounds that the medical report attached to the request was not signed by its author. Bello, who is facing charges of alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud before Justice Emeka Nwite, brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), had applied for the release of his travel document to enable him seek medical attention in the United Kingdom. While, while delivering ruling, the court held that the medical report submitted by a doctor was not signed and therefore lacked legal efficacy. The court emphasized that an unsigned document carries no legal weight and is considered worthless. The case was thereafter adjourned to October 7 and 10 and November 10 and 11, 2025 for continuation of trial. Chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, Dumebi Kachikwu, has accused opposition politicians of hijacking the party structure to support former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's 2027 presidential ambition. Kachikwu claimed the ADC-led coalition launched was never a genuine alliance but a political vehicle designed to favor Atiku. He said Obi has since realized the coalition is skewed in favor of Atiku and is now reconsidering his involvement. Kachikwu maintained that the ADC would not be allowed to serve Atiku's presidential bid. The ADC chieftain also vowed to work against the plans of politicians he accused of manipulating the political process, promising to enlighten Nigerians on their rights and political power. The Nigerian Sin Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM) has unveiled plans to introduce a new housing initiative aimed at providing Nigerians living abroad with secure access to real estate investment opportunities in the country. The initiative, known as the Diaspora Home and Abroad Housing Platform, would be officially launched during this year's National Diaspora Day celebration, scheduled for July 25 to 26 in Abuja. Speaking during a press conference, NIDCOM chairman Dr. Abike Dabiru Erewa described the platform as a long overdue response to persistent challenges faced by millions of Nigerians in the diaspora seeking to invest in property back home. The chairman highlighted the Commission's progress in integrating diaspora voices into national development planning, including the deployment of state diaspora focal point officers, the National Diaspora Policy, and the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit. She called on stakeholders, diaspora members, government agencies, private sector partners, and the media to participate fully in this year's celebration. The Commission commended the continued support of President Bola Tinubu for diaspora engagement and to all partners working with NIDCOM to enhance the global impact of Nigeria's diaspora community. The Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission, Dr. Aisha Garba, has expressed concern that over 250 billion naira intervention funds disbursed to state governments are still being retained as unutilized in the coffers of the 36 state Universal Basic Education Boards and the Federal Capital Territory. Garba made this known while declaring open a 3-day financial management training organized for fund managers of state universal basic education boards in the 36 states and FCT. She lamented that the basic challenge is not only accessing the UBE matching grant, but also the failure of some of the state government to properly utilize the funds for the purpose of development of infrastructure and improvement of the teaching and learning conditions in schools across the country. She emphasized that the goal of UBEC is to ensure ensuring that every naira allocated and effectively utilized in ways that add value and positively impact the learning outcomes of the Nigerian child. The executive secretary further encouraged all participants to approach the training with an open mind, recommits the principles of transparency, accountability, as well as excellence in service delivery. She urged them to embrace new perspectives that will improve their performance as UBE fund managers going forward. The Rivers State Police Command says it has traced and busted a child trafficking syndicate operating out of Aba, Abia State, rescuing a pregnant woman identified as Regina Sunday during the operation. The command said its tactical unit apprehended 2 suspects, including a female linked to the notorious syndicate currently under investigation. According to the police, the operation followed discreet intelligence. Report says the pregnant woman was placed under protective custody and later delivered of her baby at the police clinic in Port Harcourt. Both mother and child are said to be in stable condition. This development was made known in a statement issued by the spokesperson for the State Police Command, Grace Iringekoko in Port Harcourt. She said the command has intensified efforts to arrest other fleeing members of the syndicate and ensure justice is served. Iringekoko said the investigation is still ongoing, with efforts now concentrated on locating and apprehending other members of the criminal syndicate. This is still the news update on 24 News Radio and Television. Still to come are news from the foreign scene and the world of sport. Stay with us. Glad to know that you're still there. If you're just joining us, this is the news update on 24 News Radio and Television. Over now to the foreign scene. At least 19 people have died and 164 were injured at a Bangladeshi Air Force training jet crashed into a school campus in the capital, Dhaka. Footage from Milestone School and College in the northern suburb of Uttara showed a huge fire and thick smoke after the aircraft slammed into a 2-story building. The armed forces said in a statement on Facebook that the F-7 jet experienced a mechanical fault after taking off for a training exercise just after 13 o'clock local time. More than 50 people, including children and adults, were taken to hospital with burns. Report says those injured have been transferred to nearby hospitals where emergency teams are continuing rescue operations at the scene. Leader of Bangladesh interim government, Mohammad Yunus, said necessary steps would be taken to investigate the cause of the accident and ensure all kinds of assistance are met. Bangladesh has announced Tuesday a day of mourning when the national flag will be flown at half-mast across the country. And from India, a court in India has acquitted 12 men who had been convicted in the 2006 Mumbai train bomb that killed 187 people and injured more than 800. Judges had in 2015 sentenced 5 of the accused to death and the remaining 7 to life imprisonment. However, a two-judge bench of the Bombay High Court overturned the earlier order, ruling that the prosecution had utterly failed to establish that the accused has committed the offenses for which they had been convicted. In the 667-page order, the court noted that the defense had questioned the credibility of the witnesses produced by the prosecution, as well as the confessional statement made by the accused. It also acknowledged the defense contention that the recovered evidence was not maintained in a sealed condition throughout. It says the prosecution can appeal against the order in a higher court. And from the world of sports, former Nigerian international Ngozi Okobi has backed the Super Falcons to win a 10th Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON title in Morocco. The Super Falcons will continue their push for title number 10 when they face reigning champions South Africa in the semi-finals on Tuesday. To get to the last four, the Super Falcons trashed Copper Queens of Zambia 5-0 in their last Friday's quarterfinal. They will now take on South Africa in their next game. Okobi, a four-time winner of the WAFCON, expressed confidence in the players to achieve the feat. Meanwhile, the Justin Madugu-led side are yet to concede a single goal in Morocco, scoring 9 goals. And still from the world of sports, Nigeria forward Victor Boniface has admitted that he could not turn down a lucrative offer to join Saudi club Al Nassr in January. Boniface was close to sealing a move to Al Nassr during the winter transfer window, but the Big Yellow later opted to sign John Duran from Aston Villa. Al Nassr offered to pay the striker a staggering €15 million per year, a huge improvement on the €2 million he earns at Bundesliga club Leverkusen. And that is a wrap on the news update on 24 News Radio and Television. Do stay tuned for more programs will be coming your way. My name is Grace Nwafo. Have a lovely evening.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information. Today, we are News